The Federal Reserve appears close to cutting interest rates. The chairman of the world's most powerful central bank said what the market wanted to hear, that the case for more accommodative policy has strengthened. Today, the Fed held rates steady, but it raised the prospect of lowering them in the future, and stocks rose. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 38 points to 26,504. The Nasdaq was up 33, and the S&P 500 added 8. It is now less than 1% away from a record. Steve Liesman starts us off tonight in Washington.
The Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged at its June meeting, but made a major change in its outlook that suggested it could cut interest rates in the months ahead, maybe even at its next meeting in July. The big changes: the Federal Reserve effectively ended its policy of patience, where it signaled it wouldn't do anything for many months. That word came out of the policy statement. Instead, it emphasized uncertainties in the economic outlook and said it would, quote, act as appropriate to sustain the economic expansion. As recently as March, no Fed official forecast a rate cut this year. Now, 8 Fed officials forecast at least one in 2019, and 7 of them forecast 2. And Fed Chair Jay Powell said even those who aren't forecasting cuts in the current survey are leaning that way.
A number of those who wrote down a flat rate path agree that the case for additional accommodation has strengthened since our May meeting. This added accommodation would support economic activity and inflation's return to our objective. Uncertainties surrounding the baseline outlook have clearly risen since our last meeting. It's important, however, that monetary policy not overreact to any individual data point or short-term swing in sentiment. Doing so would risk adding even more uncertainty to the outlook.
So what will it take for the Fed to actually cut rates? Powell made clear the committee wants more clarity in the outlook and how much the economy is really going to weaken. And he wants to see how trade talks with China will work out. If those concerns about the economy are proven right in the data, it seems clear the Fed will respond with rate cuts, and that could happen as soon as July. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Steve Liesman in Washington.